And good day to you guys. Today I got a special gift from a friend, and they are what you call soap reactors. So, soap reactors are basically these things. Well, this is the box that would turn on. Like substitute, like a wired version of a button cell battery. That's what basically it is. You use it basically for 1/6 figures, or anything that takes up like one or two pieces of what do you call that? Button cell batteries. So uh, I this video is dedicated to Bob because he was just such a cool guy. I just unpack it and look at it, man. See, I was messing around with Bob because we're good friends, and he upgraded his setup into a Morgan's workshop, or but it's a better lighting setup. So he told me that it's a lot better than soaps because those things, Morgan's workshop and such, they're for more advanced collectors, and I'm still a beginner. So I asked Bob, hey Bob, if you have those soaps lying around, maybe you can send me one. Just totally messing. And you know what? Bob was like, what's your address, man? Like, seriously? It was like, sure. And then he sent me five. How awesome is that, man? Here, so the least that I feel that I could do for Bob is like make a video about soaps, just to thank him. So inside the soaps, you would find the soap reactor. This is the main soap reactor. This is where you plug in the DC inputs, I guess. What do you call that? These things to power up your setup. And this is the motion activated control, where you just make motions, up and down motions of it, reverse and upside motions to turn on and off your stuff. And these are the beginner kits for, so every main soap reactors would have these beginner kits where they are different battery sizes. So it's not very hard to figure out. And this is like the remote. No, the button cell battery for the remote. So it comes free with that. So it's not really very complicated. It just might seem intimidating at first. So I'm gonna get a figure here. So now I have Thanos here. But before we start, I forgot to tell you, I have this hooked up to the power source right now. Uh, there are three settings in here. One, the leftmost part is basically the off part. The middle part is the on part, which you can see because this thing glows, the O glows. And the rightmost part is for the remote. The thing is, a lot of soaps, all of your soaps can be controlled by one remote. See, this is the remote I use to control my soaps. And it automatically pairs for some reason. So when you just make gestures, see, I just made gestures. Yeah, like that. This is a more effective gesture, I guess. Flipping it forwards and backwards. That will turn it on and off, and the rest of my setup too. I don't know if I can show you. I'll do my best to show you, okay? Because it's all over there. See that Ultron figure? Yeah. So see, it turns on and off. So that's really cool because you can make do with just one soap reactor. So having said that, let us take Thanos. I don't have any other. I can't find any other figure that would need a battery, so I chose Thanos here because his gauntlet would need a battery to light up. So let's do this on camera, slowly. Okay, take off the gauntlet first, the snapping gauntlet, and then take this off because this is the part that would light up. This is my first Hot Toys, by the way. Thanos is my first Hot Toys. So he's my favorite. I wonder how many favorites I've had through the years, but Thanos is the one that started it all. So uh, let's take this off, okay? There. Always have a screwdriver ready. So unscrew it. And it would also help if you have tweezers. So be careful with these sharp things. It took me a while to get tweezers. You don't want to permanently scar your figure. Okay, it's not. Okay, it came off now. Oh, sirens. Okay, fingernails. Okay, so now that we got that off, so you will see that it requires, I don't know what you call it, man, but basically it requires this. I've just been doing this for a while so I can eyeball it. So let's do this. First, take it off like this. Unwrap it. The wires are very fine, but they're not very fragile. So, I mean, you still be careful. They're still wires, man, but they're not as fragile as they feel. So, kudos to the testament of this wires, man. Kudos to the construction of these wires. So, let's clean everything up a bit. So then, if you look closely, there's positive and negative here. The older ones don't. Yeah, so this one is negative. It says negative. Positive. So remember, negative is always on the non-spring side. So it always goes to the butt or something. That's what I call it. For the non-spring side, it's always the negative. So get your tweezers. And then the screw I put somewhere. So before you put it back in, you should test it first before you screw everything up. So plug it in, and it works, man. So now you have to put this back in because sometimes it's not a perfect fit, so you might need aluminum foil and such to make up for the empty spaces. So after you do that, that's when you screw it. Not too tight. Put it back on and see. And so let's turn it off via this remote. Okay, so let's install it in Thanos. And check it out with all of Thanos' glory. Still my favorite piece, man. Okay, and flip. Let's fix Thanos' stance first before we fix the angle of the camera. That's how it works, man. That's how you install it. So sometimes you need tweezers. Sometimes you need a screwdriver to push back the spring. So it just depends on the figure because for some strange reason, I just had more success with just my fingers and this, man. So that's very random for you at times on how you install it, but you know, with experience you will find the best way to install it. So okay, as you can see though, the only downside of this and why this is a beginner's kind of thing is because number one, you see the wires, man. The wires are there, so you need a creative way to hide them. Like, you know, you might even need to tape them or something, or yeah. So this is like one way of hiding it, or putting a background on it just to hide it. So there are ways, but it's harder. The more figures you have lighted up, the harder it is to hide the wires. So that's the biggest downside of this, and why it's considered a beginner solution. Because you could also say that it is the most cheap and most non-invasive way of lighting up your figure. So there's that. The further along you go through this collector's journey, the more you will fix this. I mean, the more that you will upgrade your setup into something like this. And someday when I'm more advanced, I am definitely also gonna give this away, man. I don't know to who or when, but that's always been the thing with us collectors, man. We give it away now, right? Because that's the only way we can sort of help each other in this community, by making videos like this that is hopefully very helpful for you guys. So there will be a day when I will also give everything up, give it away. Like what Bob Dylan did to me, give it to me. I'm also gonna give it away to a beginner collector or something, or an enthusiast. So until that day comes, man. I mean, I hope I'd still be active in the forums. I enjoy the community so much. So thank you. Hope I help you a bit. And remember to put on markers or tapes on your main remote.